Hey everyone, I'm Jessica, and I usually talk about solo games, but one of the big things that I use all the time is BoardGameGeek. And this is a great, fantastic website, but it does have a lot of little nuances and little hidden features and tricks to understand how to use it. So I wanted to go through and just kind of show you how I use it and some of the tips I have for getting the most out of it. So I'm going to switch over, we're going to look at how I use it, and hopefully some of this will be useful to you. Let's go! So this is what the main homepage of BoardGameGeek looks like for a lot of people after you have logged in. You're on the Explore tab here, and this is kind of just what it looks like. The first thing I'm going to do, though, I actually use a plugin for my browser that actually changes the look of the site via custom CSS. I use this because that's just personal preference. I like larger fonts, more contrast, and just, there you go. So this is a little bit different from what you'll see. This is how I use it though, again, just with larger fonts, but we're still on the same domain, the same website, just slightly changed with my CSS, which I do have available and I share it if anybody has questions or if it's helpful to anybody, it's out there. So the Explore page is where you will often hit BGG or BoardGameGeek for the first time. You'll see there's a lot of stuff going on here, and it is an endless scrolling page, so if you keep scrolling, more and more content will come up. There is a lot of stuff going on here. Now, the alternative to this Explore tab is actually the dashboard, and this is what I use. I have customized this, so this is the main place where I usually will come to BoardGameGeek and start browsing. This is what I see. It's text heavy, but I'm used to that. This is what works for me. I can read this. I have my custom modules so I can keep up with the news and some forum posts and geek lists and just kind of at a glance see some of the stuff that's useful to me. It's compact. There's not just endless information. It barely scrolls with some of the footer stuff, but that's about it. So if you are interested in using the dashboard, this is pretty simple to switch over to, and I actually have it so that I don't have to go, normally you would go from here and then you'd have to click dashboard, but you'll notice that up in my bar up here, there is a little icon for the dashboard. If that is useful to you, if you want to use that, you would click on your username, go to Account, and then click on Edit Layout. And you'll see that there is an option to add dashboard link to menu. If you have that checked, that will put that up there so you can just automatically always go to the dashboard. You're not clicking around. This is where that is. If this appeals to you, you can actually customize it. Usually from that page is where you can go to Edit Dashboard. And in here, you can see mine is very short. You have a left column and a right column. That's exactly what you saw on the other page. But you can customize this with whatever you want in terms of items and also sorting in terms of if you want to look at hot topics, recent or active, whichever one makes the most sense to you. And it's simple. You just click on Add a Module and just choose something from this rather enormous list. But with a lot of stuff on the site, this comes down to just figuring out what is actually relevant to you and kind of tailoring it to what works for you. Mine is very small, but it works for me. So again, this is all I have for my dashboard. That's all I really need. And whenever I come to BoardGameGeek, this is where I start from. And it's nice. It works for me. Another thing you'll probably notice on here is this side on the left. If you don't see this when you're logged in, there should be 3 bars in the upper left. So if you don't see it, you may see a page like this. Click on those 3 bars and then it will expand, so you'll have a quick bar, recently viewed, as well as the hotness. Now your quick bar is basically a set of custom bookmarks. So rather than having to put bookmarks in a browser, you can actually just put them in here, and amazingly you have up to 10 pages to fill. I only use the first one. And this is just important links to me that are easy to get to whenever I need to go there. Some of these I've actually forgotten about and I haven't clicked on in a while, but it's all just useful things that are, again, make it easy to navigate around the website. And you can easily add something to this. So if you're on a page that you want to bookmark or add to your Quickbar, you simply click the plus sign and decide to name it something. So sure, it's BoardGameGeek, I hit add, and it's in that slot immediately. If you're like, whoa, I don't want that, you hover over it, there's an X. Yes, I would like to delete that. I know where I am, it's removed. And if you would like to completely customize this a little bit more, maybe you have a list of links, you can click this edit icon here and then just change everything and put the URLs in, add what you want, and you're good to go. So that is a nice and powerful feature in that it cuts down on clicks. You don't have to keep searching around for things that you know where they are. They are right on your screen all the time. And again, I only use the first page of it, but if you have other links, you could add them in here. You could categorize these so you would know like page 2 was for RPGs or something like that, and just make it easy to browse the site because there's a ton of information. It's an excellent website, but there is a lot of stuff going on there. So that's the Quickbar. Also, what you'll see is recently viewed. I use this slightly differently than I think other users probably do. I kind of use it to keep track. It's almost like a wish list or games that I'm keeping an eye on. This is really useful though if you are someone who likes to browse, you're following along and you're like, oh, I'm really interested in that game. Cool, I checked it out today. And then maybe you didn't bookmark it. You'll see, I think it has top 10, I think it's 10, but if you click on See All under here, it will then take you to your full browse history. And so it will have those top 10, but then you can also go back in time and it will have the last date and time that you viewed that item. So I have these on my list. Again, I use this differently. I clear it out a lot because you'll notice on the right-hand side, you can remove these from your history, which I do a lot, so that it doesn't get to be, this can be dozens, hundreds, thousands of pages, depending on how you use BoardGameGeek. So I like to keep it simple, keep it limited, but you can control that in here. And if you're like, oh, you know, I looked at this game and I remember I saw it like a week ago, if you look in your recently viewed section, you may actually find it, and there it is. So it's almost saved as sort of a browser history that does not clear out unless you do it. So if you go in here and you're like, wow, that's thousands of pages long, I don't think there's a bulk remove, which can be a little bit, it's a little much. That's why I keep it kind of cleaned up, but mine has gone about 5 or 6 pages at times, and you know, I just click those X's, clear it out, and then remember, yes, that's why I have these games in here. That's why I watch them. So that's recently viewed. The one that I have hidden most of the time is the Hotness. This is, and see, it won't even, because this is my CSS that I have broken. There we go, you can see it on this page. But the Hotness, these are really based on popularity. It's kind of a vague formula that uses, it's based on forum activity and how many people are going to the page and just basically activity on these games. So these are going to be ones, you'll often see these if they are new games that are coming out, they were just announced, they are on a crowdfunding platform, or maybe they just went on sale on a big discount website. That may be some of the reasons that they're there, or maybe an expansion was announced, or they're just really popular right now for other reasons. People are looking at them. There's some of those, the bigger games. So there's no problem with this. The reason I keep it hidden is that this, again, is not relevant information to me to keep open all the time. It expands the page more. I don't need to see this in real time. I may check it once a week or once every, couple days just to see, oh, is there anything that's interesting that's happening? But otherwise, we keep that hidden. I like my text, clearly. Apparently, no images for me whenever I can. But that's the left side of the screen. And then I think the only other thing that I wanted to kind of go through real quick are some of the reasons why I have these bookmarks in my list of Quickbar links. There's the One Player Guild, which is basically where I spend all my time with solitaire games on your table, the geek list there. This is actually defunct. This was originally where I recorded all of my ratings and information about games. I have a blog now, but I still go here because this is actually useful for me, the way that I have my questions laid out when I rate games. This is still useful years later. I should put it in another format, but it's there for me. Same thing with Calico Critters. I used to put images in here, recording all my fun little adventures with them across different games. This is nice to look at now because these are some of the really old images that I shared. This is replaced by my blog, but if I need like a little laugh or something, these are just cute and funny. I will talk about next subscription well, we might as well do that now. Usually, when you have subscriptions, you'll see a little, like I have right now, I have a notification up here, and on that page, I can see what is triggering my subscriptions, and then I can go to them manually and, decide how to go through that. This is my preferred way to use subscriptions because then I know, if I have 20, I get to choose. Let me look at this first. Let me mark this one as red. Things like that where I'm choosing. If you have the next subscription, which is basically the same URL, it's /subscriptions is the standard. This is /subscriptions/next. This one will just go to the next subscription. So if you have these, rather than me being able to choose which one, it's going to go to, I believe, the earliest one so that it will kind of go through and you can kind of, check out your subscriptions that way. I don't like doing it this way always because occasionally I want to know what I'm clicking on. The one reason why I have it over here is because you may have had this happen to you, possibly. Sometimes when you clear out your subscription, so pretend there was nothing here and it said you're cleared out, there's nothing. Up here, it will still show a number. Even though you have no subscriptions, it still shows there's a subscription. For whatever reason, on the back end, the coding, whatever, it's not working properly. Something happened, and clearing that out is, you just can't do it, and it's not working. It's annoying to think that you have a subscription and you don't. Sometimes I have found if you swap between next subscription and then viewing your subscriptions and clicking on them, that will actually help clear it out. So that's a little trick that has helped me out a few times over the years. But that's really there just to fix when the subscription number breaks. Another thing I have on here is geek stuff, which is probably useful for a different video. This is more just checking out, getting an easy way to get to my profile, checking out Geek Gold, and that is a lot of it. I haven't really used the Geek Buddy system. That is one of the really powerful features on here that, again, I think deserves a video all on its own, but that's kind of a quick link to get there. Again, it's not that helpful right now. This is my blog, which I can get to from other ways, but this is just an easy way for me to get there. There is a link for Board Game Tools. I just bookmarked this because it has a number of different URLs, different places to easily go for some tools that are actually really useful in looking at data or just using what is available on BoardGameGeek in a different way, just to get stuff that is helpful. And then probably the last one that's useful on here is the Geek Feed. And what this is a huge URL because it is basically parsing down and looking at all the games that I own and then examining all of the forums and pulling up, based on most recent, what those threads are. And I do this sometimes just to see if there's a rules question that I can answer, if there is a cool announcement that I should keep an eye out for, if anybody is having, cool ideas about a game that I own. Again, there's a lot here, and depending on the size of your collection, this can get to be a lot. But this is just a nice way for me to kind of keep up with what's going on with the games that I own. There's ways to change this URL. This works for me though, and that's that. And then finally, there are a couple of links here that I don't use anymore, but this was when I ran a Mouse Guard play-by-forum RPG group two of them actually. So I just have those saved as just a reminder of what that was in the past. But that's just a few ideas to kind of hopefully give you some ways to make BoardGameGeek a little bit easier in terms of picking out those relevant pieces of information and making sure that this site actually works for you. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you get some great solo games to your table and make BoardGameGeek relevant for you. Thanks again, and take care. Bye!